support instruction in the classroom. So that doesn't change with Common Core. We've been doing that for 35 years. The book has never been the curriculum. Thank you.
We can entertain about 2 more questions. Gentlemen, okay, go right ahead here, and then I'll take it back in the back.
Comparison. My question is, as I've been reading about Common Core, it's saying that because of the difference in the complexity of the questions, we should anticipate that possibly the scores go down the first year or two. I want to know, how is that going to affect students since their success is based on that one score? How is it also going to affect teachers since our evaluations come from part of that school?
We had 2 questions there. One, as the complexity becomes greater, the challenges for our students to demonstrate competency on those in the final assessment, and also the teachers' evaluations for the value-added measurements, so forth, are coming forward as well. So how are we going to address that? I think this is a very challenging time for everyone. We have a huge shift going on, and you have a lot of complexity and nuances. And I think the biggest thing is to take it in chunks, what we're expecting teachers to do, students to do, and we have to prioritize and focus on our professional development, like we've been talking about, on how we're assisting teachers in that shift. Because if we have an effective, knowledgeable teacher in the classroom, you're going to have students achieving at high levels. If you don't have that in place, it's going to be a very, very difficult challenge. I feel like Clayton County has been very visionary in getting out in front of it. I think our academic services team, human resources, has received all kinds of accolades with the development of the 2 evaluation instruments, the team instrument as well as the lead instrument. And I think that all has to mesh, and it's all intertwined. And we have to understand that this is not a linear process, that it's very nuanced. And we just have to understand that. We have to listen to our teachers as we go forward, and listen to our principals as we go forward. They're in the schoolhouse, they're closest to what's going on. We have to ensure that they have a voice at all times at the table as we proceed. But I feel like we have an excellent framework. Our academic services team, what is presented when Dr. Moxley goes to share with other superintendents. Lake County is highly respected in that respect. I think they're very innovative in trying to be up front. But that is a very complex question. There's no simple silver bullet answer that. It's very complex, and it's going to get messy. Change is always messy, but it's going to be hard work for everybody. There's no question about that. But the ultimate outcome, it will benefit our students in the classroom that they can compete at the national level and the global level, and that's what it's all about. Yes, Dr. Moxley.
You have certainly highlighted a challenge that there has not been a complete solution to yet. So I want to be very clear that this is something we are still really grappling with, and the state is also doing the same thing. Again, that is not necessarily Common Core induced. It is partly what has been going on in the past several years with our whole accountability system as that has been increased. As rigor has been increased in the curriculum, in the standards, and the accountability system through differentiated accountability under the Next Generation Sunshine State Standards, our formula has had many changes. When you increase rigor, you are stretching students, and you are going to see, you have to bring students up, so you will see a little drop. The problem that we have seen, and again, the commissioner has just been dealing with this. They had a conference call with the State Board of Education yesterday, as a matter of fact, on the very topic that you just raised. So you can see where we're immersed in that right now under the current standards that we're transitioning from. But when you have that rigor increased, and then you change the formula and increase the rigor of the formula as well, you're doing both, you are going to see a drop because you have no way to compare the increase here to where they were on the previous grading formula, because now it's changed. So you have to really try and take where you are and where you are with the new formula and try and equalize it to be able to make those comparisons of where was the true growth. So we are going to see right now, as it transitions with school grades coming out very soon, that increase of rigor, that those changes to the formula, and you are going to see some drops where students actually, we had greater amount of proficiency. We may have had seen students with individual growth. They actually made growth, but they may have dropped as far as their level, and that would have an impact on student or school grades. So you may see some progression there because we grades both parts, the rigor as well as the formula. You're going to naturally see that drop. I think the question that also bears in mind, which was the second part of your question, is that has impact on teacher evaluation system, because that is now linked, and that is very much a weighing concern on our professionals, I will tell you. And I know the teachers that are in the room here, you felt that. And that is why we have to have those ongoing dialogue, and that dialogue, and I give our commissioner great credit because he has come in new and he is listening. He is asking the right questions, he is listening to superintendents, he is listening to teachers. And I commend him for that because that hasn't always been the case, and I have found that to be true from him right from day one. So I really appreciate that open door and hope that continues. But we have to make sure that everything is aligned. And right now, those are some of the biggest challenges. And until we get it right, we need to make sure that we are not being punitive to students and to teachers. So that is the ongoing challenge.
Okay, we got one last question. Oh, Katie had a response to what? Jump right in. Jump right in.
Superintendent Moxley mentioned the call of the state board yesterday and the impact of accountability, and I believe that recommendation was to look at school grades and not let them drop more than one as we transition over the next couple of years. So there is that, because there is a shift. With that, we have to keep in mind that the score drop, I like to call it a reset, because essentially the texts are not the same, so they're not dropping on the same text, it's a different text. So with any change in text, you're going to, this is true of FCAT, you're going to see them have a new starting point and work their way up. As we move back to that strategic implementation timeline that we showed the slide of earlier, there was a reason why we started with K, K1, 2, and so on, because in 14-15, the students who started with kindergarten Common Core aligned all the way through will be the first third graders to take the Common Core aligned assessment. So looking at that group and the years after will really show you more of an accurate picture of how the district's moving. We know that there's going to be some gaps for student learning, especially in secondary over the first few years. And I know the commissioner and the department are working with district leadership to address that, but and we don't have answers yet on how that will look. But keeping those things in mind is important. And I know as far as evaluation, the current law is something that the commissioner is looking into. There's things that are bad things as with any law, and so making it fair for our teachers is important to him, especially through this transition. So we're not looking to hurt any of our great teachers in Florida. We know that we have wonderful ones here, so keeping that in mind with the transition over the next couple years is important.
Okay, Teresa Ames, and my concern is the exceptional student. How are we going to address and meet the needs of the exceptional student with the modifications and accommodations that are in their IEPs?
Thank you. I don't have with us Judy
What's the
Miller.
question?
Oh, the question was how we're going to meet the needs of our exceptional students with disabilities as we go forward that have IEPs, and they have to take high stakes tests in the classroom, how we're going to address that. And again, that goes back to the individual's education plan. The student committee, the parent is involved and engaged, and they look at what accommodations need to be put in place particular student, whatever their needs may be, as testing occurs, and we follow those guidelines to ensure that the playing field is level for those particular situations. If anybody else has any other comments, but that's usually where that occurs in that process. Also, we have a system in place that every school has with our multi-tiered support system as we go through for all students to ensure that we have proper interventions, the teachers are using the type of instruction they need to support students for their success when they get to the final assessment. Any other staff members have anything to say? Yes, go ahead.
But I want to make sure your questions you get the information that we have. Over the past year, there has been a task force that was assigned looking at exceptional student education, and particularly our ESE centers. Center schools, we do have one in Lake County, and that is Lake Hills. We have many students that participate in exceptional student education in all our schools, and we are looking for rigorous education for all our students, and that IEP is critically important, and that's why that partnership with parents is very important. The curriculum and the standards have to be looked at with regards to our ESE services as well. That is currently also under review. I know that the commissioner and the Department of Education staff, they have a full ESE department that is also working very diligently on that very topic that you have raised, to make sure that everything is aligned, that we are stretching our ESE students to the level that they need to be stretched with the rigor that is appropriate for their educational plans. So all that has to be aligned as well. I think the other critical piece is how does that impact with the accountability system and the whole accountability formula. That's part of what that task force was charged with bringing input back to the department, and that is also part of one of the items that the commissioner is reviewing. So that was included in some of that discussion yesterday. So there is a lot more research and work that has to be done in that area as well.
Okay, at this time, that's going to conclude. I think we were supposed to end about 9:30. We went over a little bit, but definitely appreciate your questions. And Mr. Patton, if we have individuals, if they have any additional questions, we will be able to answer at this point. I know there's one lady back in the back. I told her I wanted to get the additional information regarding South Lake High School and get that information. If you have other questions that you might want to ask staff to be here as we break out. Dr. Knox, do you have any final comments?
I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I know that there may be some scattered questions that are left here. We want to be respectful of your time, but our time is your time, so we will remain here. If there are any individual questions that you want to come up and ask, we want to make sure that you leave here with appropriate information. And we will be continuing this dialogue throughout the months ahead. We will add more information, but we will have it at different locations because I know that there are people in the other parts of our county that may not have been able to get here today.
Be at different times for working here.
We will also do the same thing because we know that we have many parents who are still out on vacation. We wanted to afford this time as the first time, but we will have evening meetings as well. So thank you very much. We so appreciate your partnership. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your concerns as we work through and transition. We want a stellar system. And I'll tell you, if you ever can find any of us from the district office, they're in all their classrooms. Did you sense the passion that they had for teaching and our children? And that's what we want. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you to all our panel